There's been some speculation that Russian hockey superstar Ilya Kovalchuk might be eyeing a return to the NHL. I want to discuss the possibility and where he may end up. And that's coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top, there's some speculation that Russian superstar Ilya Kovalchuk might be trying to make a return to the NHL this coming season in 2018 and 19. So this actually could become a reality. I know this became a bit of news last summer as well, that it was possible that he may return for the current season, which never materialized. But at that point, his rights were still owned by the New Jersey Devils. So the only way that deal would have happened is it would have been a sign-and-trade deal where the Devils would have had to sign him and then trade him to another team to facilitate that move. Now, obviously, he was still under contract in the KHL as well, so it kind of complicated things a little bit. But this coming summer, Ilya Kovalchuk will be a free agent, and the New Jersey Devils will no longer own his rights, so he's free to go and play wherever he chooses to do so. So obviously he's a big name forward, scores lots of goals, and he would certainly be a big help to a lot of teams in the NHL. So obviously I want to take a look and see where might be a good landing spot for Kovalchuk. This latest speculation on Kovalchuk wanting to return to the NHL, I got this information from hockey analyst Elliotte Friedman's column called 30 Thoughts, and he speculated that he may be eyeing a return and he may be looking really closely at New York. Obviously when he last played in the NHL, he played in New Jersey, which is really close to New York. Obviously he's not only wants to play hockey in the NHL, but he's got a family to think of, and apparently he has a wife and 4 children, and apparently they really like the New York area. So that was the speculation in the column, that he might be looking at New York City or the surrounding area close by. So obviously the first team that comes to mind is the New York Rangers. Obviously New York also has the New York Islanders. And I don't think you can completely rule out here the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, they brought back Alexander Radulov not too long ago. I know things they parted there are not great terms during free agency last year, but still Montreal has proven that they're not afraid to bring back Russian players from the KHL, so it's certainly something to keep in mind. Now the other thing to keep in mind here is a player like Kovalchuk is going to be demanding a pretty high salary, so obviously teams are going to need a fair bit of salary cap space in order to make that move happen if they were indeed interested in bringing him back. So if you take a look at what the New York Rangers are going through. Now we just published a video on the New York Rangers outlining how they've put it out to their fans that they're going to be going through a rebuild, and a lot of the current players are going to be traded off for future assets, young, skilled, fast hockey players. If you missed that video, there's a YouTube card up here. You can watch our video on the New York Rangers and what they're likely going to be going through here as the trade deadline approaches, as well as into the summer. Now, of course, that being said, though, that's going to give the New York Rangers a lot of salary cap flexibility, so they likely could make it happen. Now, obviously, bringing in a player like Kovalchuk could certainly accelerate the regrowth here of this franchise. If you take a look at the Rangers, what we speculated going out, I mean, if you look at the forward group alone, it was speculated that Matt Zuccarello could be on the way out. Obviously, there's pending UFAs, Rick Nash, Michael Grabner, David Desharnais, just to name a few there. They're likely all not returning. It was, you know, in the video, I kind of also speculated that even players like Chris Kreider, Kevin Hayes, JT Miller, it's not a given that they're not going to be moved. They could remain with the club, but they may or may not. But I mean, obviously, they have some young players to build around, like Zibanejad, Buchnevich, Jimmy Vesey, Jesper Fast. They got some good prospects coming up like Elias Anderson and Philip Cheadle. So I mean, you throw Kovalchuk in the mix here, hey, all of a sudden you might have a pretty decent looking top 6 that look completely different from this year. You just never know. It's certainly a possibility for sure. So if you're a Rangers fan and the thought and the possibility of them able to bring in Ilya Kovalchuk for next year, what are your thoughts on that? I want to hear some comments from you down below, so please let me know your thoughts. As far as the Islanders go, I think it's a real possibility they might consider it as well. Although the salary cap issue might be a little harder for them to pull off than the Rangers. I mean, obviously they're trying to build a team around John Tavares. They want him to stay long-term, be the face of the franchise. They've got a brand new building that's in the works as well. So, you know, it's not completely crazy, I don't think, that they would consider doing this. Although I think it is less likely than the Rangers. You know, it is something that they probably would consider. And really, I think the Montreal Canadiens are another possibility. They are going to have all kinds of salary cap space next year. They need scoring. They need some forwards that can put the puck in the net, and he's certainly fully capable of that. They brought back Radulov not long ago. That experiment worked out very well. Obviously, they had trouble agreeing on a contract extension, but still, the fact of the matter is, I don't think they're shy of bringing in those types of players. And obviously, the last time they experimented with it, it worked really well. So if you're a Habs fan, what would you think of Kovalchuk coming to town to play with the Habs next year? Is that something you would like to see? What do you think about that? Leave some comments down below as well. I mean, there's some other teams out there that would have the cap space of potentially, at least as of right now, to do this. Like, for example, the Sharks are one of them. I don't see him going too far west like that. You never know, though. You can't completely rule it out. But there's, obviously, I think the 3 teams I have here behind me would be the most likely landing spots, but that's just my opinion. So let me know down below in the comments, if Ilya Kovalchuk returns to the NHL, where is the most likely landing spot? And the other thing, let me know, what do you think he's going to command for a salary? Obviously, he's going to demand big bucks. He's a proven superstar, and it should be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, we're going to have a really good chance here to see Ilya Kovalchuk put his skills on display for the world to see, as he's going to be representing the Russian team in the men's hockey tournament at the Olympics starting here in a few days. We also did an Olympic preview video, which is out now as well, going through the Olympic hockey tournament that's getting started. That Olympic hockey preview can be viewed up here. There's a YouTube card up there, so if you missed that video, certainly go check it out. Guys like Kovalchuk on the Russian team, you get Rasmus Dahlin on Sweden. There's certainly still some key players to keep your eyes open for as well, so check that out. Don't forget as well to follow us on Twitter. You're going to see our Twitter handle right here on the screen. We're also on Instagram and on Facebook, and all of our social media links are in the description down below, so please go check those out. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.